Hey, and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines. And we're back in Smorgasbord and Schnoot, episode 3 or 4, depending on how you count them, does not matter. And today we will be filling up that little area in green there in the middle of the screen, in between the two neighborhoods. I'm just kind of hovering over it, as well as we're making some small interchange adjustments, and we're actually going to build a whole new segment of the highway. So without further ado, let's get into it. Roll the time lapse. So I had a lot of difficulty coming up with the layout for this neighborhood. At first, I wanted to create something more creative, something new, something with curves. Because I looked at these like straight lines and I'm like, this is ugly. Let's try something new. So I tried doing like two big curves that intersected with each other, and then I looked at it from afar and it kind of just looked like butt cheeks. So I got rid of that and I went back to the good old grid. I did offset the grid from the two other grids on both sides of the arterial roadway on the major east-west road there, to make it look a bit less like a battery pack from satellite view. But yeah, we do add a few curves within the network here as well, and I definitely struggled with this one, and I kind of just gave up in the end and changed it myself. Another thing actually, so that's different from the last episode. Last episode I'd say I'd maybe attach a train station to this neighborhood. I actually never ended up doing that, and that's just because there was not really enough space to do so. Building a train station would take up too much space. So we add up some zoning, we add the utilities, and then I realized we probably should add a high school, or I don't remember, high school or university. We haven't had one of those in a very long time. So yeah, it was a high school. So I rummage one of the roadways, I rebuild them just to get the zoning back to normal. You can see it's a bit offset there, and it's really frustrating to work with, but at some point I'm just like, okay, this is as good as it's gonna get. So add the high school, add an elementary school, and then we let the housing build up a bit. And you can see those trains going back and forth there. So the other thought that I had in here was kind of most internal roads don't have any four-way stops, so you're either yielding to someone or you have the right of way. There's not like four people coming up to an intersection. I honestly really hate all-way stops in real life too. I think it's not ideal. A recurring issue with this episode is also going to be the garbage collection. We've had that issue across multiple episodes now, but I realized that intersection that I was hovering earlier, and even this intersection, you see all the left turns are just garbage trucks right now. So I do create a bit of a single point urban interchange at close to the industrial area, as well as the neighborhood we had built 2 episodes ago. So yeah, I make some small timing changes, some small adjustments, but really it's not getting much better. Also, that's a huge amount of people waiting at that bus stop there in the middle left of the screen. I should in my next episode address that, maybe with like a tram or something. I'm thinking maybe adding a tram down the middle of this road that you see them going left to right. I think that could be a nice center point. A bit slower than a regional train, actually, well, significantly slower, but higher capacity than buses. Yeah, so those are all the garbage people coming out, and I'm still trying to just adjust these timings and the movements here, but no success. So my next thought here is, well, right now we only have one entrance, and so this is where I'm going to pause real quick, but you'll see we only have one way into the city. And so in that trough that you see on the left there, I actually want to build another highway entrance into the city. Kind of like a road that's weaving in between the mountains. So we're going to tear up the freeway, add a beautiful, like a trumpet interchange, and tie that up to the existing freeway, and we're just gonna try and build along the path of least resistance. So I want to minimize the length of the tunnels where possible, because tunnels can be very, very expensive. So yeah, we're kind of going through the landscape there, following the terrain. And I think always that's beautiful when you're driving down in between the mountains like that. And then we start the tunnel here, coming up to this big wall. Tunnels in City Skylines are not great using, well, they don't exist at all, using the default roadway, so actually upgrade to a mod. It's a Japanese expressway, and the tunnel inside is modeled, so you'll see we'll actually go through a very rapid first-person view of a car going through that tunnel once it's built. I don't know how long this is actually going to be in this time lapse. I'm sure pretty quickly, but here I'm trying to make sense of how I want this tunnel to go through. I was thinking just doing one big curve. That's kind of boring, so we do two small curves as if there was like soft terrain that we had to go around. And yeah, we keep everything nice and symmetrical on both sides. And here the hope again is, compared to the other only entrance we have into the city, this might alleviate some of that congestion. Turns out in the end it won't, but I think once we build the more downstream area of the city/town, this will come in handy, as we're not funneling everyone through that one 6-lane roadway coming out of that diverging diamond interchange. So I'm really doing my best here to flatten this this tunnel out as much as possible, using the Anarchy mod. Anyway, we'll see. In the end, it turns out pretty well, but it was quite a struggle. I think I spent like a good 20 to 30 minutes just trying to get this smooth, but we connected up. This is a temporary solution. In the future, I don't think I will actually be crossing this road with the railway. Try to prevent at-grade crossings where possible for highways, but this major arterial is actually going to cross the railway, which is fine. So here I'm just doing some lane balancing, making 2 lanes in, 2 lanes out, and there's our tunnel, nice and smooth. One way of the mountain range to the other, and this is the path into our current built city. Very cool. Alright, so we are then going to build another side of the neighborhood, although I don't know if that's coming up right now. Just feeding a bus road here, connecting the 2 train stations so that the areas between the train stations get serviced. But here I decide to build out the southern part of the neighborhood, so just south of that railway line, just kind of squeezed in between the two, on a floating island, you might even say. And so it's also a bit, it's a pretty small one. I think there's only 2 or 3 parallel roads at most, and then we're actually going to add a train station to the other line, so not the line which we've just built those bridges over, but the line that's going to pass south of it. And that's going to be kind of a quick access, almost an interchange, because you could likely walk between the 2 stations that are adjacent there. But anyways, we add the utilities. I try to find a perfect spot for this train station. Not a fan of this one. I do some crazy voodoo stuff, and I end up offsetting this road just so that it's in line and I don't ruin the backyards of other people, although I wouldn't call it really the most scenic site. I guess for people who really enjoy trains, it would be. But yes, and this is a 4-platform station so that we can have the express trains pass through while regional trains are sitting on the side, so people aren't caught. Trains aren't caught behind one another. We do add quite a bit of office space here, because as you see in the bottom of the screen, the orange bar is pretty high up. It just went down a bit after those, but still there's some demand for industry as well as commercial. Connect things up with a newly built hospital right next to the train station, so it's easily accessible for all. Add some pathways. Realize that pathway doesn't connect to the hospital, so I just built one with the Anarchy mod through the hospital, decorated a bit, add some utilities, add some, I think this public library, yeah, we add a public library to the area at some point. And the garbage trucks are still struggling, but I guess there's three things in life that are constant: death, taxes, and garbage trucks struggling in my world here. I connect things up here with the rest of the neighborhood, so make sure people can walk around, should they be able to, instead of forcing everyone to use their cars to get around the city. This way we can reduce congestion a bit. More connections up there. I'm really trying to promote walking by almost creating more vehicle dead ends, but allowing pedestrians to take those shortcuts. Yeah, this intersection was a struggle, and so I don't remember if was it in this stream or in another, but I actually straight up just tear out that road going south over the bridge and replace it with a better road, because it's abominable. And so this is where I build in I tried putting in a 4-lane road. Not a fan of how it looks. I mean, we don't really need a boulevard going up next to the agricultural area, the farms and stuff. And it's kind of weird to have a boulevard then extend there. I just added a train station because I was getting tired of looking at traffic, but the boulevard there doesn't make sense either, so we actually tear it out with something else, and we put in I think it ends up being an alternating 2+3 lane road with a storage base for left turns on either ends. And that actually solves quite a bit of problems going north towards the highway. So that one was kind of a lifesaver, and I mean, it was just the boulevard didn't have enough capacity for everything, so yeah, I had to add an extra lane, and it seems to be doing okay. Now that bus just ran over 15 people. That's so crazy. Check the train stations, check the cars, everything's operating just fine. Well, just fine. I mean, much better than it was before. See, the queuing is not nearly as bad. The throughput is much higher. And then this is just making sure that the left turns are going into the right lane and they're not blocking the right turners coming north. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for this video. I guess I didn't actually build that single point, the Spewy, the single point urban interchange, but I guess that's coming in the next video. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Again, if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll have another video in the works for this, and we'll see how it goes from there. I think next up, after we build that Spewy, we're gonna build out the rest of the neighborhood, or we're gonna keep building up downstream and such. But I think that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.